Now, do you think that this bill threatens the existence of civil societies? Because people will say that that cannot be what it seeks to do. What it seeks to do is regulate the activities.
Listen, I mean, look, again, Nigerian politicians have not convinced me that they understand where we are going. So you hear Nigerians talking about dividends of democracy, by which they mean how many contracts have been awarded, how many roads have been constructed, how many buildings have been put up. And I said, listen, if it was just for infrastructure alone, it will be difficult to find anybody who will outrival Hitler in terms of the quality of infrastructure he produced in Germany. Our Nigerians are shamelessly, constantly holidaying in South Africa. What part of South Africa do they want? Is it the one with the infrastructure, or the one that spent from 1948 right through to 1990 when Mandela came out of prison, dehumanizing Africans, literally enslaving black people? That was what the Afrikaners did. They created infrastructure. So infrastructure has never really been a democratic project in that sense. It's only that in Nigeria, because we're in a semi-primitive environment, politicians believe that the best obligation they owe to our people is just talking about contracts, by which many of them are simply circulating favors among themselves. So fundamentally, the key ingredients of democracy is freedom. And in 1776, when you go back and read the United States Declaration of Independence, what it says very clearly is that we are signed to this proposition that all men and women are created equal. And they are entitled to freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Democracy simply provides the vehicle for achieving that.
But Your Lordship, you know that there is no freedom without responsibility, and that freedoms can be subject to abuse in many instances.
Absolutely.
How do we begin to regulate those instances of abuse?
Good.
Or even in many instances, sift wheat?
Oh, absolutely. I don't have a problem. You know, from birth, from the cradle to the grave, there's nothing that Nigerians' laws have not provided for. Why and how have we ended up being such a thoroughly dysfunctional society? There's nothing that law is not provided for in Nigeria. Why are the laws not operational? And why do the members of the National Assembly think that regulating the activities of non-governmental organizations, which is what the organizations are, they're non-governmental? Okay? Somebody said, the freedom to swing your arm ends where my nose starts. I understand the point you're making, but what is the work of the police? What is the work? Why are people in prison? What is the work of the courts? So the idea that the National Assembly, or the things that its priority now is to regulate the activities of NGOs, suggests to me that, one, the proposers of this bill don't understand where we are coming from. Okay? Because if they did, they would be privileging civil society. Because without the activities of civil society, without the lives of... I was in Abuja, and I went to the SSS headquarters just a week before Abacha was to come to Lagos, before he died. I went because Olisa Agbakoba, had been held in detention. And as you know, their office was down on Awolowo Road. I went there and I said, I would like to see my friend Olisa Agbakoba. I didn't think I should be ashamed of being associated with my friends. And the SSS man then said to me, he said, look, we're sorry, Olisa Agbakoba has been moved to Enugu. Olisa Agbakoba had to be cleared out of Lagos because Abacha was coming. Well, the rest is history. But when we forget those who actually push the vehicle that brought us to where we are, which is what Nigeria has done, collective amnesia. And, at the level of even the political science theory of it, we never had a transition in Nigeria.
Is it a question of forgetfulness?
It is forgetfulness.
Let's talk about, for instance, the issue, what's happening in Maiduguri, the northeast crisis, Boko Haram and the crisis that it has caused in that area. We have seen a plethora, a flooding of that area with many NGOs claiming to do one thing or the other, one thing or of the sort or the other. And in many instances, the help which they go around to seek for these people never really get to them. Listen,
what the NGO community is doing is a metaphor of what the government of Nigeria is unable to do for its people. Because I read some of the comments, and people are saying, yes, we want to regulate how people get money, and so on and so forth. Now, how many of those who are in the National Assembly are comfortable or have been to Maiduguri to see what is happening in Maiduguri? Now, if somebody decides to leave London, New York, Paris, or Abuja, or Sokoto, the comforts of their home, to go to Maiduguri, what price are you putting to their life? And why are people taking that risk? That somebody will sit somewhere and impute motive as to why people are in Maiduguri without assessing the quality of the work they are doing. Again, do you need a law? If somebody is in Maiduguri, for example, and he has decided to collect money from God knows where, and there are problems, you know what you should do? Report the man to the police. EFCC is there. It is that this bill does not just deliberately and blatantly ignores the existing social, judicial, and justice system on the ground in Nigeria.